You have 25,000 USDC. On your phone, the number looks simple. 1 USDC is designed to represent approximately $1. So perhaps you think, I basically have $25,000. Then you arrive in Indonesia. Your bank operates in rupiah, your villa charges rupiah, your local expenses are denominated in rupiah. And suddenly, one simple number becomes part of a much larger financial system. So what exactly is USDC in Indonesia? Is it legal to own? Can you trade it? Can you convert it into rupiah? Can foreigners use it? Can a business receive it? Is it basically the same as holding dollars? And what happens when your USDC is on the wrong blockchain? Those questions are more important than the fact that the token says USD in its name, because USDC may represent dollar-denominated value. But once you enter Indonesia, the local financial framework still applies. Let's look at how the two systems actually connect.
USDC is designed to maintain a value of approximately $1, but economically similar does not mean legally identical. A $100 bank balance is a bank liability. A $100 banknote is physical US currency. 100 USDC is a blockchain-based digital asset issued within Circle's stablecoin infrastructure. Circle states that USDC reserves consist of highly liquid cash and cash-equivalent assets, with the majority of the reserve held in the Circle Reserve Fund. Circle also commits to one-for-one redemption under its applicable terms. But there is an important detail. Direct Circle Mint access is primarily designed for institutional customers. Circle states that Circle Mint is not available to individual retail users, who generally access USDC through secondary market providers. So when someone says, USDC is basically dollars, that explanation is useful for understanding the price objective. It is not a complete description of the financial instrument.
This is probably the most important distinction for USDC holders in Indonesia. USDC exists within Indonesia's regulated crypto asset market. CFX's official market data includes USDC, and CFX itself is identified by OJK as a licensed crypto bourse. But that does not make USDC Indonesian legal tender. Indonesia maintains a separate framework for payments. Bank Indonesia states that virtual currencies are not legitimate payment instruments, and the newer 2025 Payment System Regulation prohibits payment service providers from accepting virtual currency as a source of funds in payment processing. So two statements can be true at the same time. You can hold and trade USDC within Indonesia's regulated digital asset ecosystem, but you should not treat USDC as though it has replaced rupiah. That distinction is fundamental.
USDC becomes particularly interesting when the person using it has an international financial life. Consider someone living in Bali. Their clients may pay from the United States. Their investments may be denominated in dollars. Their company may operate across several countries. Their crypto portfolio may already use stablecoins as a base asset. But their life in Indonesia runs on rupiah. That creates two financial reference points: dollar-denominated wealth and rupiah-denominated expenses. USDC can sit between those worlds as a digital asset whose value is designed around the US dollar. But it does not eliminate the need for local financial access. Eventually, if the money is intended for life in Indonesia, part of that digital value usually needs to interact with Indonesia's regulated crypto, banking, and rupiah infrastructure. That is the real use case, not replacing Indonesia's currency. Connecting international digital wealth with a local financial system. This distinction deserves its own section. Holding 10,000 USDC is not the same thing as holding 10,000 US dollars in a conventional insured bank deposit. Circle's USDC terms explicitly state that USDC held in a Circle Mint account is not protected by deposit insurance schemes such as FDIC insurance or equivalent deposit protection schemes outside the United States. That does not mean USDC has no reserve backing. Circle publicly reports information about the assets supporting USDC and states that USDC is fully backed and redeemable one-for-one under its applicable terms. But the risk structure is different. With USDC, you must think about the issuer, the reserve structure, the blockchain, the wallet, the platform where you hold it, and the infrastructure used to move or redeem it. A stable price target does not make all of those risks disappear.
This is where stablecoins become more technical than their name suggests. USDC exists natively across many blockchain networks. Circle currently supports native USDC across dozens of networks. So saying, "I have USDC," is not enough. You also need to know, where is the USDC? Ethereum, Solana, Base, Arbitrum, Polygon, Stellar, another supported blockchain? And is the token actually native USDC? Or is it a bridged representation? This matters because exchanges, custodians, wallets, and other infrastructure may support only specific networks. Circle's own documentation warns users not to send unsupported tokens or unsupported forms of USDC into Circle Mint addresses, because doing so can result in loss of funds. The stablecoin can be stable. Your transfer can still be wrong. One mistake deserves special attention in Asia. Many experienced stablecoin users are accustomed to moving stablecoins using Tron. That habit should not automatically be applied to USDC. Circle announced in 2024 that it was discontinuing USDC support on the Tron blockchain, stopped minting new USDC on Tron, and phased out Circle Mint support for Tron-based USDC. This creates a useful lesson. Do not choose a blockchain simply because that is the network you normally use for another stablecoin. USDC has its own issuer, its own supported networks, its own infrastructure, and its own operational rules. Before moving meaningful value, verify the exact asset and exact network that the receiving provider supports. The letters on the token are not enough. There is another concept that international users sometimes miss. USDC aims to remain stable against the US dollar, but your life in Indonesia is priced in rupiah. Those are two different things. Imagine USDC remains almost perfectly stable around $1. If the rupiah weakens against the dollar, the rupiah value of your USDC can rise. If the rupiah strengthens, the rupiah value can fall. So someone living in Indonesia while holding USDC still has currency exposure, not necessarily USDC versus the dollar, but dollar-denominated wealth versus rupiah-denominated expenses. This matters when you are planning rent, payroll, living expenses, investment capital, or other recurring rupiah obligations. Stablecoin does not mean stable purchasing power in every country. It means stability relative to the asset the stablecoin is designed to track. For a foreigner, the most useful way to think about USDC in Indonesia is as part of a financial bridge. One side is your international digital wealth. The other side is your Indonesian financial life. Between them may sit a regulated digital asset provider, an Indonesian bank account, rupiah liquidity, and appropriate documentation. OJK explicitly advises consumers to use crypto providers and official channels included in its whitelist. The important question therefore becomes, what do you actually need to accomplish? Hold USDC, convert part of it into rupiah, move value from an overseas crypto portfolio into an Indonesian financial setup, create recurring local liquidity, or maintain both international digital assets and Indonesian banking access. The correct structure depends on the objective. The asset is only one piece of the system. This becomes particularly important for foreigners. You may already know perfectly well how to hold USDC. But once you live in Indonesia, another question appears. Where does the rupiah go? For short visits, existing cards and international banking may be enough. For longer-term residents, investors or entrepreneurs, Indonesian banking access can become increasingly useful. It can help with local transfers, recurring expenses, accommodation, business-related financial administration where appropriate, and general access to Indonesia's financial infrastructure. For eligible foreign clients, Sungazer Live can assist with navigating Indonesian banking onboarding. That does not mean Sungazer Live approves or issues bank accounts. The relevant bank determines eligibility, documentation requirements, due diligence, and final approval. Our role is to help foreign clients understand the process and connect their broader digital asset needs with practical local financial access. USDC becomes more sensitive when a company enters the picture. Imagine a foreign founder owns USDC personally. They also control an Indonesian PTPMA. Those two facts do not automatically mean the company's money, and the founder's digital assets can be mixed casually. Before using digital assets in a corporate context, questions may arise around ownership, corporate authority, accounting, tax treatment, banking, transaction documentation, source of funds, and the purpose of the transaction. A personal wallet controlled by a director is not automatically a company wallet, and money belonging to a company should not become personal money, simply because both accounts are controlled by the same human being. For corporate use cases, professional Indonesian accounting, tax, and legal advice may be required. Blockchain ownership and corporate ownership are not always the same thing. USDC is designed for price stability. That does not make it risk-free. There are at least 5 risks worth separating. Number 1, issuer and reserve risk. You depend on the structure supporting the stablecoin. Number 2, platform risk. Where are you actually holding the USDC? An exchange, a custodian, a private wallet? Those are different counterparty arrangements. Number 3, network risk. Sending USDC through an unsupported blockchain or interacting with the wrong token contract can create serious problems. Number 4, wallet risk. Self-custody removes one intermediary. It also gives you direct responsibility for private keys and transaction accuracy. And number 5, foreign exchange risk. USDC may remain stable against the dollar, while its value in rupiah still changes. The useful phrase is not USDC is safe because it is stable. The better phrase is USDC removes some forms of volatility while leaving other risks intact. This is where Sungazer Live fits. Our job is not simply to tell you what USDC is. You can learn that in 5 minutes. The harder question is, what happens when your USDC needs to interact with Indonesia? Sungazer Live works with foreign clients whose financial lives intersect with digital assets in Indonesia. We operate as a crypto exchange aggregator, helping clients understand and compare appropriate routes through regulated Indonesian crypto providers. But that is only one part of the picture. We can also assist eligible foreign clients navigating Indonesian banking onboarding. We help clients think through local liquidity requirements. We help them understand how digital assets connect with practical financial needs in Indonesia, and where legal, tax, accounting, banking, or regulated financial advice is required. We help identify where the appropriate professional or regulated provider needs to become involved. Because a foreigner holding USDC rarely has only one question. The questions usually connect. Which provider? Which banking route? Which local access? Which documentation? Which structure? And what am I actually trying to accomplish? That is why we start with the client, not the token. USDC appears simple, one digital token designed around $1. But once that token enters the real world, everything around it matters. The issuer, the reserve, the blockchain, the platform, the regulatory environment, the banking system, the rupiah, and ultimately what you are trying to do with the value. In Indonesia, USDC can exist as part of the regulated crypto asset ecosystem, but it is not rupiah. It is not an Indonesian payment currency, and it is not the same as holding dollars in a bank account. For foreigners, the real opportunity is understanding how digital dollar assets can connect with Indonesia's regulated financial infrastructure. If you hold USDC and need help navigating regulated crypto access, Indonesian banking, local liquidity, or the broader connection between digital assets and your financial life in Indonesia, contact Sungazer Live, WhatsApp and Telegram at Sungazer Live Sungazer Live, helping international clients navigate digital assets and financial access in Indonesia.